it was a big-ass fantasy trilogy by my standards. And when you write, I think, a big-ass trilogy, or at least when I wrote that one, you don't pay a lot of attention to what's going to happen afterwards. The end, completing the third book, maybe getting it published even, seems like such an unattainable goal that a bit like Frodo stepping out of his front door to carry the ring to Mount Doom, just getting there seems like enough. You don't really think about what happens afterwards. But as I was writing my third book, and it was all going very nicely, or in my own head it was going nicely, my editor, Gillian, say hello, Gillian.
Oh no, you can't make me part of the speech.
That's enough for that. My editor came to me and said, what are you doing next? And I had this horrifying epiphany. A bit like Sam, maybe, going up the ashy slopes with Frodo on his back. Oh, sir, when I dropped the ring into the flames, the mountain don't like erupt or nothing, does it? And I suddenly realised, oh dear, if I'm going to have a career, even as a writer, or even take it seriously to any degree, I'm going to have to write a book every year or two for the rest of my life. That could be 20, 30, 40, let's hope for 90 books. And the problem was that, like a band facing their sort of difficult second album, I'd used up every good idea I'd ever had in writing the other three. So I needed to think of something new, quite quickly, on a deadline with a schedule, and with some level of expectant public, not a very high level, but some level of expectation, which was a very different circumstance, obviously, to kind of just writing any old rubbish in the middle of the night for my own amusement. There was pressure, and the job, well, the hobby had become a job. So I needed to find a new idea, and where better to find one than one that's already been used successfully by other people. They're lying around everywhere, you can just pick them up. It's not theft, it's homage. So I decided I would pay homage to one of my favourite films, which is Point Blank. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Point Blank, but it's a John Borman film with Lee Marvin. Huge fan of Lee Marvin. Anything with Lee Marvin is good as far as I'm concerned. He's not in the book, but you can hope. So it's a John Borman film with Lee Marvin, and he's a gangster, an implacable gangster, bent on revenge, who works his way through this crime syndicate from bottom to top, and there was a few surprises along the way. And I thought, ooh, I thought, Lee Marvin. Yeah. And then I thought, ooh, crime elements mixed with fantasy. Work for Scott Lynch. And then I thought, ooh, revenge. It's cold, it's nasty, it's simple and understandable, and it's very, very violent, which obviously plays to my strengths. So that was kind of my cue in terms of plot. I've also always been fascinated by Renaissance Italy, of poisonous popes and rampaging mercenaries and feuding city-states, and that kind of mixture of destruction and creativity that was going on at the time. And I thought, oh, so I'd do that in terms of setting. So I married those two together, and then I sprinkled on the top a little fairy dust of characters who were familiar already from the first floor, in the hope of pleasing people who basically wanted more of the same. And after only 18 months of grueling hard labour later, by my editor, not me, here it is, the fruits of that fantastically detailed and effective decision-making process. Best served cold, which I think it's fair to say is the best female Lee Marvin Machiavellian fantasy of this millennium. But don't take my word for it, you can come and pick up a copy now. I might even sign it for you. So that was kind of all I had to say in a kind of prepared way, but I was hoping you would bring with you some wonderful questions that you could ask me. Anyone like to step forward and, play your part in this whole process? Anyone? 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 Hello, yeah.